Alternate timeline, Lucifer would be having a nervous breakdown. He already suffered massive trauma and was massively depressed during the show, but this time it was worse, way worse. As Lucifer suffered this, all he could think about was his pain. All he could think about was his agony. All he could think about was how no one loved him because Lilith left him. As he missed his daughter so much, he would go to visit her. As he stood up, as his eyes began to twitch, as he began to look crazy, he would slowly go over to her old place. As he knocked on the door, Lucifer realized this, he would eventually see that she wasn't here. He panicked more and more and more as he grabbed his head tightly. As a large, strong aura came from his body, it would melt the entire building. But then, he would look at his phone and see that Charlie opened up a hotel. He wanted to visit her. He wanted to see her. But he couldn't. After seeing what he did, maybe he would hurt her. So he stayed secluded for a couple weeks. After all, that was probably what was best, for him to stay away from her. However, he couldn't do it. As time passed, he missed her more and more. He needed to be around his daughter. Lilith left him. He tried to make friends. He tried to talk to other people, but they only hanged around him because he was royalty. He needed someone who cared about him genuinely. As Charlie came back from her meeting with Adam, she'll be watching on the news the horrible news that the exorcism was being sped up. As then she heard a knock on the door. Would be surprised as it was Lucifer. As Lucifer would say, "There's my baby, darling," as he hugged her. Charlie would say, "What are you doing, Dad?" "Well, I've been depressed since your mother left," and all that. As Charlie would say, "She'll come back. It's only been 7 years." Lucifer would go, As then he would just stare at her. Would she ever come back? Deep down, he's always known she wouldn't, but a part of him always wished she would. Maybe she would come back. Would he even let her back into her life? After everything that happened? He just didn't know, as he would stare at Charlie until he closed his eyes and said, "Well, enough of that. Let's just get going." As then Lucifer would say, "So this hotel's about a redemption. Tell me about that." Charlie would go, "Well, Dad." As then she would start to tell her dad about it. Tell her dad, describe to her dad, explain to her dad everything that's happened. Try to tell him that, well, the hotel was good, that she can redeem someone, she can make their lives better, she can make their lives greater. As she tried to explain them this over and over, not really much would happen, as Lucifer was too distracted on Alistair. As Alistair would sing a song, Lucifer didn't even start in this timeline. He just stared at him and watched him sing. That wasn't like him at all. He was goofy, playful, but here he almost looked sinister. As he stared, he gave off this deathly aura. Alistair would even stop halfway through and say, "What's wrong? Everyone down here loves musicals." Lucifer would say, "I don't anymore." As Alistair was shocked by this, he just kept on looking at him. He could sense a kind aura, but it was shrouded by hatred. As Alistair would walk upstairs, Lucifer continued the tour with Charlie. As since this was earlier, the whole Mimsy thing wouldn't happen. As eventually, Lucifer would say, "Okay, Charlie, I'll get you that meeting." "Really, Dad?" Lucifer would say, "Yeah. But when heaven breaks you apart, when heaven breaks your heart and casts you down, don't let it get to you. It happens to all of us," he would say as he walked away. As Charlie would say, "That was weird." Vaggie would say, "Who cares? You got what you wanted, hun. Besides," he looked like he was under a lot of stress. Charlie would say, "Yeah." Lucifer was under all of this stress. We cut back to him. He would go and sit down in his house as he pulled out his phone and call Beelzebub. Beelzebub would say, "It's literally been 100 years. I missed you. Are you going to finally get back into politics?" Not going to lie, Satan's kind of ruined things. As Lucifer would say, "I know, I'll deal with that someday. But for now, I need your help. Come," as he would hang up. As Beelzebub would sigh, eventually she would go over to his house and say, "What's up? You still have that honey that calms you down. The opposite of what you normally sell." "Yeah, it doesn't do too well, though, selling-wise." As Beelzebub would go, "You know who should really buy that? Satan. He's so, mean and aggressive all the time. It would really chill him out." Lucifer would say, "I need some." "Are you kidding me? You're the sweetest guy." I know you can get upset sometimes, but Lucifer would say, "I need some now." Beelzebub would say, Okay. As then she would leave and come back and give him blue honey to drink to calm him down.
as he would drink it whenever he felt really angry. As Beelzebub would say, "Where's this anger coming from? You probably need a therapist." Lucifer would say, "You're right, but I'm not going to get one. I'm the king of hell. People already don't respect me. That therapist will just make it worse." As then he just kept on drinking. Beelzebub was shocked. What happened to the sweet man she knew? Who was this? She would sigh and simply walk away, as Lucifer stood there, sitting down with shame. As shame overcame him, all he could think about was Charlie, was Lilith, was his family. Everything was so happy. Everything was so together. Was it all really just a lie? Was all of it? Was everything he dreamed of? Was everything he imagined just a massive lie that didn't even matter? Maybe it was. As Lucifer would simply sit there, not really knowing what was going on, just looking onwards. With nothing but depression, with nothing but anger at the world, he would drink Beelzebub juice. It would help a little bit, but the anger would still be there. Eventually, he would see on the news that Charlie was being attacked. As his wings would grow out, his eyes would extend, turning red as he flew as fast as he can. As the sky around him changed, as buildings around him as he flew broke, he got closer and closer to Charlie. She was okay, as he hoped that she would be fine. As she was fighting Adam, Lucifer would fly and punch Adam, and this time, he didn't say any words. He didn't make any funny quip about effing him. He just slowly walked towards him, as Adam would say, "What are you doing, Lucifer? I know that." As then, Lucifer would simply just walk towards him slowly, as Adam would try to yell at him, try to provoke him, try to do anything to get him to talk. This was creeping him out, but he did nothing. As then Lucifer would punch him, as blood would come out of his nose. Looked shocked, as Lucifer attacked him. Now Adam knew that Lucifer would be mad, but to not even say a word, he was known as being quite awkward and talkative. But this was different. It was rage, pure rage. As Lucifer punched Adam again and again and again and again and again, not even making any emotion, just beating him up. As blood came out of his body, he would say, "Stop, stop, stop!" As another punch came, and another punch, and another punch, and another punch. As Lucifer would say, "No one ever F's with my daughter." As then Charlie would put her hand on Lucifer's back. But Lucifer thought this was an exorcist, and out of pure instinct, he would move his fist behind him with all of his strength, crushing Charlie's skull, killing her. As he turned around, he saw what he did. As tears rolled down his eyes, he fell to his knees. No words were spoken, only sadness, as he picked Charlie up. He didn't mean for this to happen. He didn't want this to happen. As he looked at Adam trying to crawl away, he would step on his neck, snapping it. As then the rest of the extras would leave, he would simply hold Charlie. As Vaggie would walk out and say, "What happened?" Lucifer would say, "I happened. It was an accident." He put her down as he cried and cried and cried. As Vaggie would cry too. As not much else could be said. As Alistair would walk out, and even he would frown if he could. As Husk walked out, so did Angel. In this timeline, there was no happy song, no remembrance about Serpentius. There was just shock. How can the hotel go on without Charlie? Vaggie could try to continue it, but she would need Lucifer's help. Would he even help? As they all simply stared, Lucifer had anger and sadness inside of him. As he would start to walk away, Angel would say, "Lord, As then, Lucifer would push Angel down to the ground and say, "Get away from me." As then he flew away. Even the honey fail him, he would grab it all and burn it permanently. But this would only mess him up more. Since he's become reliant on it, he'll become even more violent without it. As days passed, Lucifer became more and more insane. All he could think about was Charlie. All he could think about was him taking her life again and again. Images played in his head. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe what he did, what he saw. What has he become? He's become a monster. It's his fault she's gone. But then, one day, he would start to hear a voice. Charlie's voice was in Lucifer's head, as she would tell him to go onwards, as she would tell him to slaughter, telling him to get revenge, that it was all Lilith's fault. Lilith left them both. She was a terrible mother, a terrible wife. And she betrayed Lucifer by leaving him, by abandoning him, by abandoning her daughter. All these thoughts went through his head. Maybe he should do it. Maybe he should get rid of her. This anger made Lucifer want more bloodshed, want more revenge. As the anger made him even more ambitious, wanted to actually hold power. As then he would get out his phone and call a meeting, as he would call Satan. Satan hasn't heard from Lucifer in a very long time. And last time he called, it was about crying over Lilith, so he wasn't too worried. As he answered, though, Lucifer sounded mean. He sounded strict. And he sounded like he was ready for pure business. As Lucifer would say, listen, I understand that you've been taking over my state. That won't be needed anymore. Got it? Satan would say, yes, sir. Gather the rest of the sins. I have important matters to discuss, as he would hang up. As Lucifer would go into the meeting room an hour early, as he would sit down and take a deep breath. It's been a while since he acted like he was actually king. It's time for him to get back into his groove. As eventually the sins would arrive, as they all walked in, Lucifer would be sitting on his throne, as he would oversee everything, looking down, saying, so, everyone, what were you talking about before? Satan said, we were talking about the intricacies of imps, and great, I don't really care. Anyway, I want to find and kill my ex-wife Lilith. As everyone was shocked, she left me for like 7 years, so I think she deserves death.
Shock, could they even kill the queen? Wouldn't that be treason? Well, she hasn't actually had power since she left, but she held more power than him. Not officially, of course, but she always governed more than he ever did. However, Lucifer wouldn't then begin to get angrier and angrier as an aura of intense fear and strength came from him. The rest would nod, as they knew they had no choice but to hunt Lilith down, as they all agreed for it. As Lucifer would sit in his throne and wait and wait and wait, as Charlie's voice would talk to him, taunt him, tell him that she needs to die, tell him that she needs to be punished, as eventually one of his subordinates would say that Alistair worked for Lilith.
Lucifer was going to have to figure this out, to see if this was true, and if so, he would deal with it. As Lucifer would meet up with Alistair was sitting on a bench, eating a deer. As Lucifer would say, may I join you? Alistair would shake a bit and say, sure. As then Alistair would say, you know, King, I've heard you've been a lot more active. That's good. Is there anything I can help you with? Do you work for her? Lilith? As Alistair would sigh and say, listen, as then he would pick him up by the neck. Yes or no? Alistair would say, yes. As Alistair would say, she's in the Garden of Eden. It was moved to heaven. Lucifer would say, I know it was moved to heaven. As then he dropped Alistair and sighed. As he looked up at the sky, wings began to grow as he flew up there. As he flew higher and higher and higher and higher, breaking Mach speeds, eventually reaching heaven, breaking the magic barrier, not even needed a portal. As then he would walk there and slowly walk to the Garden of Eden. As Lilith was there, she would say, what are you doing here? Wait, don't tell me, did you fly in here because you realized where I were because you were lonely? That's so. Suddenly Lucifer would punch her, as she looked shocked. Did you just hit me? You know I'm a... Lucifer would say, I know what you are. You're a witch, a demon, a devil. And that's saying something coming from me, literally the king of hell. As in Lucifer would hit her again and again. She would get her magic out and begin to try to fight back. As since she was the queen of hell, she had a lot of power, but she was no match for Lucifer. And Lucifer was pure merciless. As he just went on and on and on, turning her into nothing but a bloody pulp on the floor. As he fell to the floor, Charlie's voice would say, good, Dad, you did it. You avenged me. Good. As Lucifer would say, you're not real. This isn't real. Why did I do this? As he would cry, I didn't mean for this to happen. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. He would simply cry and cry and cry, as the two women in his life that he loved are now gone. One was his daughter. One was his wife. All of it gone now. And what does he have left? A kingdom that he doesn't even care about? People who hate him? People who are scared of him? Why did he do all this? What was this even for? He would get up and fly back down to hell. He thought vengeance would make him happy, but it didn't. All it did was make him more empty inside. And that's going to leave things off. don't forget to support the artist on X. They made this art, and it would really mean the world to them if you go over and support them. I understand if you don't use X anymore, because that's like a crap pull. I barely ever use it. And also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I know I did. It was fun to make. It had a dark edge to it. And honestly, I wanted it to be an accident. Like, he just wouldn't do it normally, you know? He loves his daughter. That's his pride and joy. But, you know, in war and everything else, there are casualties. So, the whole point of this was for him to do the ultimate casualty, to take the ultimate person that he loves away from him. I probably could have covered how it would affect Vaggie, but I'm running out of time and it's late at night. So, yeah, originally I was going to do that. But, yeah. I mean, she was sad, though. I don't know. Oh, well, too late now. Hope you had a good day. Love you all. Peace out.